How about this? Confirm or deny, is there a harem?
Cannot confirm or deny.
Can you confirm or deny if you're voluntarily celibate?
What the
I can't. Yeah, I'm definitely not voluntarily
Have
celibate.
you seen Justin? Hello?
Yeah, dude.
He literally has a welcome mat right under his nose. How would he?
What the fuck?
Good. Says the hobgoblin.
Oh.
Sucking dicks in cornfields.
Roasted.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's
Hobgoblin.
okay. I can take it. I can take the smoke.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's see here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Justin, do you ever see yourself getting married?
No, not on paper. No, absolutely not. I believe in love and marriage and in regards to taking care of a woman fully and your responsibilities as a father and a provider and protector. 100%. In fact, I think that's probably what's broken about the world. But in regards to letting the state get into all my businesses that took me over a decade to build, absolutely not. No.
That's a very
How
smart.
do you think you're gonna get to the place of that marriage you want with that family and that lifelong love that you just talked
I didn't
about?
say I didn't have family or children. I just said I was running your business.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you want to keep it private, is what you're saying?
That's what I
I
said.
understand.
Justin has enemies.
I might have multiple family.
Oh.
You never know. I might like family more than you. So much I have 5.
Do you think that's a good thing to have multiple families?
I think it's good if there's one dad and there's not a bunch of step parents involved and the dad can be the hero and those 5 families live a 10x better life than they would have otherwise. Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you don't think that it will be ultimately an opportunity for jealousy or disharmony amongst
Women
two
are always going to be
families?
jealous. What's changed
I'm not
about that?
jealous in
Women
my
have been jealous
marriage.
all the way through time. So
I'm not jealous in my marriage.
I don't care about your marriage. I'm talking about mine. What my life is going to be. So I don't answer to you. So that's my answer. I'm going to run my situation exactly how I want to. And generally, when I do that, that's when I have the most happiness, let's say, in my life. So that's all.
And you would want that for your daughters?
Yeah. I live my life unapologetically on my terms. So if my daughters that are overly spoiled and educated in every way and have friends all over the world and world traveled in the best schools in the world, if they have a problem with me at the end of the day, then they can kick rocks too. I'm not going to simp for my daughters. I'll love them fully. But if they grow up and turn into a person that doesn't want to get in line with me, or look, here's my goal as a parent: teach my children how the world works. Give them the skills so they can live on their own terms and give them choice. If they choose not to make me part of their life after I've given them those things, I've still succeeded as a father.
But I guess I'm asking if you're comfortable answering, obviously, but are you wanting to be a role model for your kids? Is that part of
1,000%. A father should show up in every way for his children. I think I'll be better than most fathers, regardless of how many children I have. I might have 100.
But you think part of being a role model, it's okay for your kids not to know even your relationship status with their own mom?
They will know the relationship status with me and their mother.
But you have other relationships with other women too.
What does that have to do with anything?
But I'm just wondering if you think
I haven't even said that. I'm just saying, like, if I want to, I will.
But you don't think that's a problem for your daughter to know that about their dad? That he has multiple mistresses?
That's up to my daughter, man. You know?
But do you want your daughter to have a guy like that long term?
If he takes care of her in every way and she has a much better life because of it, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Wait, do you want to have 100 kids? Is that like low-key?
I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Yeah, I believe in having kids, man. So there's too many dumbass people having kids. Might as well have a smart person have some.
Dude, is Justin low-key about to repopulate the world?
Kids are awesome.
Is Justin single-handedly reverse the declining birth rates?
They got all these single women out here talking shit about shit, man. Well, cool. I'll have babies with you. What's up? Now, part of it is being a smart ass right now, right? To be honest. But look, if a guy decides to have a bunch of children, I mean, you see it happen all the time. Guy gets married, he's a shit father, shit husband, ends up getting a divorce, and then goes has babies with the next chick, doing the same thing I'm doing, except I'm not a lying coward about it.
I hear you.
So,
I see that. I see that.
Is what it is.
But I think the big question is, I mean, it seems like you're really focused on self-improvement, which is awesome. And so I guess my question would be, is it ideal? Like, what are we striving towards individually, right? And what do we think is best for society? And I think kids want to know their parents love each other and are committed till death do they part to each other.
Yep, didn't say any of that wasn't true. But you're the one saying that's not true.
Okay, but do you think it would be a little bit confusing for one of your kids if they found out, let's say theoretically?
No, because if they trust me enough to come to me, I'll just tell them the truth. What are we talking about? I'm not hiding from anything. I just told you.
I understand that.
It seems like you're challenging it because you have a problem with it. I simply don't care.
So your kids, you're saying you don't care if they find out you have multiple mistresses?
If I had multiple women and then my kids came to me, then I would just talk to them like an adult. If they're adult enough to ask, I'm adult enough to tell them.
Though?
Well, whatever they ask, I'm there for. You know, that's it. Find somebody else. I don't feel bad. I'm gonna live in truth. Here's the difference between me and most men. Most men are doing this shit behind people's back, right? Like a fucking coward, and they're not even giving the family the life that they deserve. So, if I choose to do that in the future, which I have not said I'm gonna do, then so be it. But if I don't, I don't.
I hear you. I guess that you're saying you don't want to share your relationship status, but then you just said people are hiding it and being a coward. So I guess
I think there's a difference between not wanting to share one's relationship status publicly on a platform like this versus
when I have a big
family.
internet following and like offices that you can Google and all kinds of things like that. I don't want that smoke for people in my life.
I see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just one thing related to not related to this. Is the audio okay, guys? Because sometimes we have issues with the number 2, and I just want to make sure. Can you guys hear Justin okay? One in the chat if you can hear Justin okay. Guys, I want to make sure that you guys hear him all right. One in the chat if Justin's coming through okay. Looks like a lot of ones. Audio's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. I have a question on this, Justin. So I know you can neither confirm nor deny the current situations, but it sounds like perhaps there have been times where you're seeing multiple women. So what is the pitch to a girl that you won't be loyal? Is it overtly communicated? Is it just an understanding? Like what's the sell? What's the pitch to a girl? Basically, because you say you're open with the girls. How do you pitch it?
I mean, first of all, generally they kind of know up front. You know, if they slide in my Instagram DMs and they see my life, it's like, they're like, are you really that surprised? And so there's questions you could ask to see if a girl's bi or not. I might joke around, ask her blondes or brunettes early on.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And see what she says, just to check see if she's bi or not. And look, I don't coach game. I'm just like super honest. And then another thing is, by the time a girl really sees me online, she's already listened to my content. And listen to things I've said, so they would know the truth, you know.
Right.
I'm probably gonna ratchet back, you know, some of these dating type shows just because I feel like I've had the same conversation a million times, and just do more of the business stuff. But by and largely, my content is a filter, you know, and I get DMs from women all day, you know, just basically saying, hey, I at least appreciate you telling the truth. I got cheated on, got lied to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's not much screening I really have to do.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, but have there been any instances, I assume perhaps maybe some of the women you approached or they weren't familiar with you? I mean, because you say you're open with the girls, and you know, and you know, let's say to all the G's out there that are trying to level up and they kind of want to, you know, they want to have
well, you know what I would say
women.
first? I would say first that having multiple women is not the goal. I don't think that's a good goal for a young man. You know, I think working on yourself completely and absorbing and having a lot of women come to you is a goal. For example, like let's say that you're married and you have a loving relationship. I don't think there's anything in the world wrong with that at all.
But I want that for you and every
Well,
person.
too bad. That's not what I want. So that's my business, not yours. But what I'm saying is that if I'm in a situation with a woman and she thinks she wants to leave because I have, let's say, more girls, okay, cool. You can leave me for a man that you love less, that will cheat on you anyway if he could. I'm not doing anything any other man would not do if he could. Maybe her husband could and doesn't, but you know, for the sake of the conversation, I think most men, if they could, would have the option of having multiple women. Now, it has also been my experience that I can only love one person at a time. And so that said, there's, you know, I think there's only one spot in my heart as far as, you know, long-term commitment. And when I look at long-term commitment, I look at protecting, providing, being there fully emotionally, a person's best friend. I mean, ride or die, like really there with them, even if they're upset or jealous.
Can I ask you one more question?
Fire away, honey.
Okay. If you have only one place in your heart for one woman, or you want to have one woman in your heart, I think you said, why don't you just commit to one and choose to be faithful to her?
I'm just not wired that way. I spent my whole 20s trying to fix myself. I thought something was wrong with me.
You're a man of self-control. You work out, you do business.
Yeah.
You can possess your own power and direct it the way you want to direct it.
It's not how I am. You
think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not.
Okay.
I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying? No, you are. You're annoying in like this goody two-shoes type way, and that's fine. I'm going to live my life on my terms, unapologetically, like truly. So you can ask me this 85 different ways. At the end of the day, I'm going to walk out of here the same man. And any woman in my life, you either accept that or leave. And that's not a threat. That's, hey, this is what I offer. If that works for you, okay. If it doesn't, you can go. There's plenty of people that are in hot wife relationships. They're swingers. They're gay. None of those people get questioned the way I do.
Yeah.
None of those people get questioned the way I do. I'm one of very few men that can actually come out and on the top of my head, there's probably a handful. The Tate brothers being some of them, and then a couple of my other friends that can actually openly say, "This is how I'm going to live. I'm going to live on my terms." And guess what? Women don't leave us for it. I cannot think of a woman that has left me over telling them that.
Yeah, some women like that.
Yeah, some of them are like, "Oh my God, that's so sexy." So no woman wants a man that other women don't want. And by and largely, I think that women are attracted to it, that little bit of dread in them, that little bit of competition. And I don't mind providing that atmosphere for them at all. And I'm not sorry.
I kind of have a question.
Shoot.
So,
I hate that I talk about this so much, actually.
no, I genuinely love
it's
how
not that
outspoken you are
because
about it.
yeah, it's just like I'm not trying to promote it.
No, not
You
at
know
all.
what I'm saying? Like if a young man thinks he wants to get married, I don't want him to see me and think, "Oh, I need to sit my wife down and tell her." If he doesn't actually feel that way, but I think you'd be shocked at how many men hate themselves over the fact that they want multiple women and they're scared that everybody's going to reject them and they're going to get kicked out of their family group, their church group, their friends.
And same with women.
Everything.
Same with women, yeah, exactly. I was
Right,
just about
sure.
to say that. You know, it's the same sense of you know, especially even from the opposite perspective, from mine, as even somebody that's only 21 years old, I've experienced, you know, like a man sometimes wants to be very protective. Is a good way of putting
absolutely.
it.
That's the
over
beautiful
their
part
woman,
about
what's
love.
mine is mine, and I understand that fully. And there are certain times where it's like it's hard not to be like the jealous type, and I've been in polyamorous relationships before.
Well, let me be really clear. I'm not polyamorous. Now,
yeah, that's why I was actually, that was my question.
If there are some girls I'm seeing and I don't care as much, they I'm not watching them like that. I'm like, whatever. But anyone that's close to that I'm trying to provide for or possibly have children with, no, it's shut down. Now you can help me bring women home all day long. I'm not trying to leave you out. But at the same time, like you're not talking to any other men, and those women are happy with that.
So it is like what I described, kind of like where it's what's mine is mine, but what's yours is also mine.
Well, I wouldn't say what's yours is also mine. I never thought of it that way, but so you're going to be protective over your girl. Like if you really care about her, you really, really care about her. Like especially like if you're with a guy and let's say he takes you to a swingers club, he probably doesn't love you. He's just trying to get a trade off, right?
I don't know about that because it can't go both ways.
It may be so. Maybe so for you. I'm just saying any woman I truly care about, like I'm not playing that shit at all.
Yeah. Well, in that sense though, like do you think it's fair?
No, I don't think life is fair at all. And this particular subject is super unfair. I want to be very, very clear about that. Number one, I am not promoting it. I'm not promoting it in any way.
Not promoting what?
I'm not promoting that men have a bunch of women.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm saying that for me in my life, the biggest struggle in my adult life was feeling out of place because of how I felt about it. It was almost like, hey, I'm coming out the closet. I'm super straight, you know? And then number two, I'm not promoting what I'm saying right now is fair at all. I don't think it's fair at all. I don't think the world's fair.
Yeah.
But I might be misunderstanding you, but it sounds like you're saying that some men, maybe yourself, don't have the ability to be monogamous. And so you're saying
choosing to frame it that way. I'm telling you, I'm going to live my life how I want to.
How would you frame it?
I would frame it as it was more of me holding my breath and trying to be something I wasn't.
What
I was holding my breath. You understand that? Look, I'm from the deep south. You Baptist, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I get
you know
that
feeling of church.
Yes. You're trying to be who they told you to be.
And you're praying, God, please let me not leave this girl I love because I want to sleep with the volleyball team type stuff. Like the biggest heartbreak in my life was in college. I broke up with Miss Louisiana while she's getting ready for Miss America. Not because we didn't get along, not because the sex wasn't good, not because we weren't like best friends. It's because I wanted to sleep with other girls at school.
Yes,
and I thought I was doing the right thing, and I ended up breaking my own heart. You know what I'm saying? And so through my 20s, I thought something was wrong with me, and I was trying to fix it. And in time, I realized that there was never anything wrong with me at all. I just had to live my truth and find people, even if it's just a small group of billions of people in the world, maybe it's 3 to 5 people that love me for who I am.
I agree with you.
And then I'm at peace, because then I don't have to be wrong. They don't have to answer to my conscience. I can just be myself. And for that reason, I'm able to put walls down like, oh, she might catch me. And just tell the truth. And so instead of loving her 80-90%, I can love her 120% and take care of her every way. So you can give your whole heart to somebody when you're not living in lies.
100%. And that was interesting for me, because I was in a monogamous marriage, because I was told that was the only way, the right way. And then I learned over the years that I'm actually non-monogamous. And that was even interesting when I started dating after I got divorced, being upfront about it, because I know, and I've said the same thing where people are mad at me because I do in public what they do in secret. Instead of hiding, I tell people like, hey, I'm non-monogamous. I can't be only with one person for the rest of my life. And if you're not cool with that, then we're not meant to date. Right. But if you are cool with that,
or you're meant to be in a different position, like you, for example, over there with your titties out and everything, talking about you. Like, in my mind, when I hear a girl say that, I'm like, okay, well, I take a ride on that, Ferris wheel. But you get put out of the wife bucket for a guy like me. But at the same time, like, I'm not mad at you for saying it, because a bunch of people were calling you haram and stuff like that, and technically maybe it's true, but it just, for me, when I see a girl like that, it just puts her in a different bucket.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be in whatever bucket, because it's like, I know what I want, and if I'm not wife material for you, I don't want to be your wife. So it's like, to me, it's alignment, and that's not an issue, and you can call me whatever.
No, I'm not here to judge you about it.
You're at peace, I'm at peace, and I think that's the biggest thing I learned walking away from the church and religion, is how unique every person is, and it's everyone has their own set of morals and values that works for them. And I used to think there was right or wrong, but now it's like, if you're at peace with you, that's the most important thing. If I'm at peace with me, that's the most important thing.
And I've never been in more peace in my life. So
and just treating others with kindness, like despite your disagreements. That's why we're in America in the first place. Like, you're allowed to disagree with other people and their opinion.
America.
So I want to pipe up here. I find your perspective interesting, Justin. I used to want the same thing. When I was about 18 years old, I realized, I was like, man, I want to have like 30 kids with like 10 different women. Like, I wanted to ball out, have as many kids as humanly possible. And this was when I was not walking with the Lord at this point in time. And I maintained that dream till about my mid-20s. And I realized, after some conversations with some friends that were from like Mormon polygamy cults out in Utah, my buddy, he was in, his grandfather had like, I don't know, like 20 wives or something like that. And he had like hundreds of grandchildren with all these different women. And I asked him about it. He was always turned off to religion because of his experience growing up in this family. And I asked him why. And he said the rates of alcoholism, suicide, all of these different things in his extended family were extremely high. A bunch of his cousins had committed suicide. They suffered from severe depression, all of these different things. And it was because of how big and difficult to manage that extended family was that came from their grandfather. And he looked at that and he just hated it, right? And that really hit home for me. And a few years later, I was reading through the Old Testament of the Bible, and one of the things that you notice about all the patriarchs in the Old Testament, right?